Statistics is the discipline that concerns the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data. So, all aspects related to data are covered in statistics, right? And when we are talking about computing, it is majorly about data itself. The computing started getting developed in 18th century and came into the hands of normal people by the second half of 19th century, but 20th century. But the thing is that most of the concepts of statistics are very much relevant to computing that we see today, right? And when we are talking about artificial intelligence, pattern recognition, machine learning, all these topics, they are very much dependent upon these very basic concepts. Before we proceed on to the more complicated concepts, we'll just go through some of the questions. So the first question here is, do you know the most popular and most simple way of organizing data? So just give me any random answers that you can think of. If you know of the most popular and most simple way of organizing data. Let me give you an example. So let's say you went to your class, or university class, and you were given a task to collect the age, height, gender, marks, uh, maybe the city of the students in your class. So you go into the class and you start asking everyone about these details. But asking is fine. How will you record that data? How will you organize that data in a way that it becomes usable later? How will you do that? Any guesses on that?
Using graphs.
You cannot collect data on a graph. That is the next step. Once you have the data, then you can plot a graph. But at the first point, how will you collect the data? How will you store?
In a form of
The question here is more about how to store that data.
in a form of table or something.
Fine. Table is just one way. Write table here. Any other means? Okay, let me also write graph.
So by using a spreadsheet.
And use a spreadsheet, which is inherently a table itself only, but write spreadsheet. Any other guesses?
We can store data in form of folders or subfolders, category wise.
That is like when we are going to organize a lot of data, we can store them into files in folders. Fine. Any other guesses?
That's CSV format.
CSV file again, just one of the file formats. It is necessarily a spreadsheet only. Maybe some of you can say that we can have a database to store that. Maybe someone could also go ahead and say that I will write it in a notepad file. So basically a text document. Or maybe some of you could go ahead and like try to create a multi-page document such as in a Word file, and on each page you can write down the values of different students or the given parameters and so on. So there could be several ways depending upon what is the end purpose of collecting that data. Why do you want to collect the data? That is like a very important question when we are trying to collect data, organize, process it, interpret it, whatsoever. But ultimately, the most important question is why do we collect data? So, any guesses on that? Why do we want to collect data?
To get insight on a topic like relations or
Yes, definitely.
how
So,
good
why would
how
someone? Yes, definitely, Naman. So, coming to this from the earlier situation that I gave to you, let's say your maths teacher told you to collect this data from your class. But let's think about it. Why would you want that data? Why would you want the age of all the students in the class? Why would you want the city of all the students in class? There must be definitely some decisions to be made. knowledge, there must be some knowledge, some intel to be gathered from the data. Let's say if 50% of the students are from the city where the school resides, then the math teacher could conclude that, oh, okay, 50% of the students that I teach are from the same city, and let's say if I plan for an industrial visit, it would be easier for them to come with their parents to the visit site or whatsoever. So there's definitely always a purpose behind collection of data. But when you just collect the data, no matter how you store it, the ultimate goal is to derive some meaning out of it. But let's say you created a table like this. All right, let me give you an example that we created a table like this. Here we have student. Here we have, let's say, age, height, city. Okay. And then there is student 1, student 2, and 3, and so on. And for each of them, you have a certain value for these columns. So we have made this kind of a table. By the way, coming back to this, table definitely is the most popular and most simple way of organizing data, because in a table you can see all the parameters and all the data samples. We can call here students as data samples because we are sampling the students here. So given a population of, let's say, 60 students in your class, you may sample only 40 out of them, or you can sample all 60 of them. So whatever the figure that you choose, whatever the whichever students you go up to and collect the data, they will be samples in your population. Right? You will be collecting data for some of them, and that's why we call them samples. So the table is the only data structures that allow you to visualize or organize the complete data set for each sample in the most organized way. And most of the digital solutions that we see today for storing data are more or less dependent upon this tabular structure, until unless we are talking about more advanced and more complicated data storage mechanisms such as NoSQL database. But that is a completely different picture. We'll not discuss about NoSQL databases as of now. But right now, the main important thing is to understand how and why we are organizing data in tables. All right. So this is, let's say, this is a kind of table that you created even for your assignment. Okay. Now, let's say there is some data written here. Maybe in your class, you may have students in the range of 16, 17, 15, 7. And for height, let's say you are having heights around 160 centimeters. Someone would be like short and he may have 145, and then someone some of from HCT, from Y, and so on. Data would look like this. But let's say if you hand this data over to your math teacher, does this data make any sense on its own? Well, it is completely fine if you want to gather intel about any one particular sample in our population. Let's say if we want to talk about student 2 only, then it definitely makes sense. That the age of student 2 is 17, the height of student 2 is 145 centimeters, the city that he is from is X, and so on. So if we are talking about any specific sample in our data set, then the data makes sense. But let's say when we want to gather intel about the complete population, then the data itself does not provide a lot of information about the complete population. Okay, so then how do we convert data into knowledge? Alright, that is the next step, and that is where most of the statistical studies comes. So go ahead and look at this small data set from a research done by Chase and Dunner in 1992. What they have done, they did a survey of children in a class, and they collected the data that, let's say, for any particular student, what is his or her gender and what are their goal in life. For example, whether they want to be good at sports, whether they want to be popular, or whether they want good grades, great grades. Right, so what are they looking forward to in that academic year or at that part of that point of life. So this is the data collected from them. So this could have many rows. like rows of these two tuples. This is just again some more rows like appended to the right of it to give you more idea into what would the data look like. So now, depending upon by looking at this particular table here, can we derive onto any specific phenomenon about the gender discrimination? Say boys think what or girls think what, or let's say to know about the psychology of students in that particular age group, or maybe that particular class or whatsoever. So we cannot like derive any intel right out of the data, but let's say if I just convert that data into some form of a chart, all right, that chart could be any kind of chart. It could be bar chart, it could be line plot, it could be scatter plot. That depends upon different factors. But let's say I converted it into a chart. So in this case, here it is a bar chart. Now looking at these charts, what could you infer? So any one of you just give me an explanation of what this left chart here is trying to say. What can you infer from this left chart here?
Gender ratio.
Gender ratio, definitely. So out of the complete population of survey, we can see that there were lesser boys and more girls in the survey who participated in this, right? So that is just one inference we got from. So coming to this chart, anyone else, what can you infer from this? Their goals. All right, we can infer upon the choice of goals between the students. So let's say the least number of students who want to be good at sports, whereas we have maximum number of students who want to have good grades in their schools. And there is a fairly good population who doesn't care about grades or sports, but rather they care more about getting popular. All right. So we can infer some intel from this representation. Alright. Whereas from this representation, we cannot tell much about the complete population. Alright. Although if we want, we can derive some information about the individual samples, but we cannot infer any major information about the complete. So this is what statistics does. It gives you tools to gather inference, gather intel from the data sets. Alright, and that is why statistics becomes very important in machine learning and artificial. All right.